What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Powered by Primus. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a deck profile on King STARscream. Now, I thought that he definitely deserved a royal entrance, so I gave him just a little theme music to kind of make him happy. Now, with this list, this is by far my favorite deck to play right now. This thing absolutely dominates, and I'm having so much fun playing with this character. He right now is by far my #1 character. Now, STARscream has fantastic stats. Let's get into them. Now, first off, he's a range in both modes, which makes a huge difference. He does have 6 attack, 15 health, and 1 armor. Now, the 6 attack and the 1 armor are definitely, we'll say fluid numbers. Now, when you get down to his ability, it says, when you flip Decepticon Crown while this is battling, meaning attacking or defending, he does get +3/+3 until end of turn. Now, the thing that makes this character so good is that is stackable. Now let me repeat myself, it's stackable. So if you happen to flip 2 crowns, he gets +6/+6, and if you flip all 3 crowns, he gets +9/+9, and I will tell you that with this list, it is possible to flip all 3. Now when we flip to this mode, it says that you get to return a card that lets you plan from your scrap pile to your hand. Now we do have 4 pretty spicy targets in this list, but you're primarily going to want to be able to keep him in this mode, obviously, so we can trigger that ability on both attack and defense. So that is super, super awesome. He's obviously the focus of the deck, and he is phenomenal. Now, where would the king be without his loyal subjects? So let's get into his buddies. They're going to help him succeed and crush your opponent. Now, the first one's going to be Drag Strip. First off, I'm running 2 5-star characters because it does open up 2 star slots, which are actually very important in the list, and they've served me fantastic. We'll get into those cards later on. But Drag Strip also doesn't ever have to flip in this list, which is really nice because we're going to be focusing on really flipping him if we need to, but we are going to be flipping flameWAR turn 1, which is really, really relevant. We'll get into all of that turn sequencing and attacking later on. Now, Drag Strip does have little baby health. He does only do little baby damage as well, but it is because he's a 5-star. The 2 armor is actually really relevant. If you haven't been able to figure it out, we do run a heavier blue in this list, and if your opponent can have to spend 2 or even sometimes 3 attacks into Drag Strip, then you are looking at a phenomenal advantage in the game. I will tell you that even against the twin prime list, that they usually have to spend 2 attacks into Drag Strip if they don't have a plasma burst, and it really gives you so much time to be able to set up for your huge attacks with STARscream. The other benefit to that is that if you attack and flip an orange and a blue battle icon, then you get to draw 2 cards. Now, I will tell you that I've played this deck a lot, like a lot. And he has, for me, like a 95% chance of being able to flip an orange and a blue. He always draws 2 extra cards, which is actually really, really relevant. And this deck definitely plays out more of a control list by really trying to make sure that you get to longer points in the game and that you really get to set him up for the turn that he attacks. If you are attacking with STARscream and you are not planning the crowns, then you are definitely not in a really good spot and the deck is not running well for you. So it is definitely very important to make sure that when he attacks, that he is equipped and ready to just beat your opponent down. Now, getting into flameWAR, she doesn't really need much introduction. She does give each of your characters tough 1, which is really, really relevant, and it is super nice. When we do plan on defense a crown, which I will get into here later on, he'll automatically be getting the +3 off of that crown, bringing him to 4 armor, and then because the crown does have a white battle icon, you'll be flipping 2. So be flipping the 2 base, and then 2 off of the white, and then flameWAR gives you tough 1, meaning you're going to be flipping 5 cards on defense, so it is extremely hard for your opponent to put a bunch of damage onto STARscream. Even if they're swinging for a massive 8 to 10, we're going to be blocking, potentially 6 damage, 5 damage, at least just from the base 3 and the 1 there, so there's 4, and then whatever you flip is just really going to be able to absorb those really huge hits, and it is extremely important, and it's also really awesome. Now getting into our upgrades, which are also the most important. First one coming in is gonna obviously be Decepticon Crown. Now, Decepticon Crown is phenomenal. Obviously the entire deck runs around this card, but its icons are what also make it just so powerful. Now it is a white and a green battle icon. White allowing us to flip 2 more on defense or 2 more on offense. It's always actually really awesome either way. And then the green allows us to fish it back and swap a card in our hand for the crown at end of combat, which is also extremely relevant because we're really going to be cycling this card just back and forth on top of the deck and into your hand. Now, you won't really ever be playing the card, but it is possible to play, so let's get into what it says. It says to put on Decepticons only. Great, all 3 of them are. It says when one of your Decepticon attacks, not just the upgraded character, you get to plan 1, which allows you to put 1 on top. So if you don't get to any of the other cards, which we're going to show later off to plan, and you are in a dire situation, you can play Crown to then be able to plan a Crown. Even in that situation, it is better to make sure that you have a Crown, because when you are attacking with this character, you want to always be planning 1, 2, or 3 crowns on top, or you are definitely behind. You really want to be playing those cards, so even playing a crown to plan a crown is better than not playing a crown and just straight raw attacking. Now, how are we going to get this crown out on defense? And that's your security console. It is a white battle icon card. It's really nice to flip into an attack or defense again. And then it says when the upgraded character defends, which will be your STARscream. I really don't see any reason to put it on any other character unless you happen to have a second one and you want to play it on another character. That's totally fine. But you always want to be putting it on your STARscream first. It is definitely one of the most important cards in the list. Now it says when the upgraded character defends, you get to draw a card and then plan 1. Well, we're going to be drawing the card, which is really nice, but of course then we're going to be putting that crown on top for defense, giving our STARscream +3 armor. So now your STARscream is going to be at base 4 armor before flips, or I guess middle of flips, since this is going to be getting flipped, and that's really awesome. And then again with that flameWAR, you're going to be flipping so many cards on defense, it's going to be very hard for your opponent to get through. This card is absolutely amazing, in addition to being these 2 are utilities. Now, the only card that's going to be able to really take these things down is going to be Vaporizes, or if your opponent happens to have a Smelt and you only have 1 of them out, which again, we really won't be playing this. Those are the only ways to really get it out. These are not armor, which is really, really important, especially with all the bashing shields that are going around. These cards are amazing. Now, one of the ways that we're going to be getting this card out when it comes to attacking is Mining Pick. Now, Mining Pick is an orange battle icon card, which is really nice, getting that extra damage in and really helping with drag strip when it comes to the flips. It does give our STARscream +1 base, and then it says when the upgraded character attacks, you get to plan 2. Well, this is obviously going to be in cohesion with Decepticon Crown. When we go to attack, we're going to be flipping the Decepticon Crowns. So what you're going to do is attack with Mining Pick attached. You're going to plan 1 or 2, preferably, crowns on top of your deck. You're then going to flip those. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys just quick maths. When you plan 2, this will give your upgraded character +1. So because you're planning 2, you get +2 on the Mining Pick, giving your STARscream +3. Now we're looking at 9 attack before we flip crowns. So let's just say the other 2 cards are blues, whatever else. These count and give your STARscream +6. That is 15 base damage going into your opponent. That is so powerful, and that is truly, truly amazing. And then again, those are green battle icons. We're going to swap some of those cards in, or 1 card in our hand, to be able to get 1 crown back. Now, the next thing that we kind of talked about is all about the setup. It's all about making this deck work, and it's all about getting those crowns. Well, yeah, we just pitched 1 card to get 1 crown back, but we just let the other crown go to the scrap pile. Well, that's where this side comes into play. On the next turn, you're going to obviously straighten up, or whatever the case may be You're probably going to throw a flameWAR. If your drag strip's still alive, you're going to send your drag strip. So then you get to flip him for the turn, seeing as how we're never going to be flipping our other characters again. When you flip to this mode, you can now fish any of these cards out of your scrap pile. So even if you happen to not get to a Mining Pick yet, and you need to early flip and pick one of those up to help you set up on your turn, or if you already have 2 crowns, 3 crowns even, and you want to go for the console for defense, or again in that same situation where we let one of those crowns go, you flip back to that mode, and now you're back to 2 crowns in your hand. The setup is so easy to do, and it's so powerful to pull off. It truly, truly makes this deck and this character absolutely powerful and super amazing. And it's also really hard to disrupt. Yeah, your opponent can break your weapon. That's fine. We have other ways to set it up. So Mining Pick's even really not that necessary, although it's super awesome to have to give you +3 attack. And then the crowns, they're just in your hand. You don't have to worry about your opponent destroying them in play, so that's really nice. Now there is Espionage, which is definitely out there, and that card can target the crown, But even if your opponent targets your hand and you have 2, sure, pitching 1 kind of sucks, but that still gives you 9 base as long as you're allowed to plan it. And if you are planning it, then you're looking at 12 base, and that's still a huge, huge number. Plus, I will tell you, we're going to have other ways of getting stuff out. So let's get to the rest of the deck. Coming in as a 1 of, which is mainly used for the littler guys, but sometimes in case like an emergency situation you need the Pierce 2 or the +3, whatever the case may be, is Energon-Axe. It does give us that +3, and you can only obviously put it on a character that is damaged. Most of our characters will be taking 1 to 2, sometimes 5 or 6 damage, so they will be damaged, so that Pierce 2 will be really nice, and then it is a blue battle icon card. Now we talked about utilities, we talked about weapons, but what about armors? The first 2 coming in are going to be Force Field. Force Field is a white battle icon card, and it says if the upgraded character would take 5 or more, they instead take 4 damage, and then you break this. Now Force Field is really nice to put onto your little characters to help them survive from big attacks, or even if you want to happen to put it on STARscream as well, just to really make sure that he's going to be sticking around in case your opponent has any weird, Grimlock Thrust shenanigans, okay? So, this is really nice. The other part about it is that it's such a powerful card that it really warrants a response from your opponent. Now, playing it on a drag strip, maybe your opponent won't care too much about it, but putting this thing on flameWAR or putting it on STARscream is going to really make your opponent have to respond to it. And if they don't have a removal, then they're really going to be set back having to waste an attack going into your character and only getting off 4 damage. The other part that's really nice about it is that sometimes you'll flip really well, and your opponent will only do 4 anyway, and then you'll still get to keep the force field around. And it's really, really powerful if it gets to stick around. The next couple of armors coming in is going to be Reinforced Plating. It is a blue battle icon card, and it does give us Tough 2, which is really nice to be able to put on STARscream, put on flameWAR, really put on any of the characters just giving Tough 2, really helping that survivability. Coming in as a 1 of is going to be Sparring Gear. Now, Sparring Gear is in here because it is an orange battle icon, really helping us trigger with Drag Strip, get a couple more damage off of STARscream, but it's also a green battle icon card, so in case you absolutely need it, you're going up against a really heavy aggro deck, it's going to be easier to find and be able to fish for if you need it. And then our last 3 upgrades just coming in for the double blue battle icons is going to be Handheld Blaster. Now, it sounds really strange, but in crazy rare situations, when you don't have Mining Pick, you don't have Crown in your hand, and you want to attack with STARscream, you put it on a STARscream. It's really nice to be able to keep and hold back for Security Console to stack on top for double blues, which is nice, but you really need to make sure that you're dealing that damage with STARscream. So even putting it on him, getting that bold 1, might be enough for you to flip into a Crown when it comes to attacking. So push comes to shove, you can definitely play it onto STARscream. The other thing is that you can definitely play it onto Drag Strip. We're really trying to be able to get Drag Strip to proc to be able to draw the 2. So if your opponent goes first, they attack, do whatever, and you absolutely have no other better play to do, then Handheld Blaster on him to be able to attack and draw 2 can sometimes make or break it come long game. Now getting into our actions, the first one we're going to be talking about is Ramming Speed. Now Ramming Speed is an orange battle icon card. Yes, I thought about putting Vaporize in here because it is blue, which is nice. You honestly don't really need it. Ramming Speeds are way better in this situation. It really helps get more damage in with STARscream or flameWAR if needed. Really helps Drag Strip trigger, and then it does get to scrap an enemy upgrade the same way Vaporize does, but the orange battle icon is definitely very specific with this card. The next one coming in as a 3 of is going to be Security Checkpoint. Now, Security Checkpoint is a double blue battle icon, which is the main reason why it's in here, to be able to help defense. It's really nice with Security Consoles, with stacking it, and even if the crazy chance you happen to go up against another STARscream, or you're going up against something that you know is very upgrade heavy, and you happen to play, like let's say your Mining Pick, and you don't really have anything in your hand, you can definitely play this to hopefully scrap your opponent's stuff. Even if you have to scrap a Crown, you totally can, because you can get the crowns back. You can even get any of them back, really, with STARscream's flip. So if it is a must, it is definitely playable, but make sure you are very, very careful when it comes to it, because if you whiff on your opponent and they don't have any upgrades and you happen to get rid of a crown and have to waste a flip, you are now super far behind, and it was definitely super wrong to play. So be very careful. It does come to playing it. The next one coming in as a 3 of is going to be Incoming Transmission. It is an orange battle icon card. It allows us to draw 2 cards, which is really nice if you're trying to dig for a crown, and then it allows you to put 1 on top of your deck. Now, if you do plant a crown with this while having the Mining Pick out, the Mining Pick will get +1. And then when you attack, you still get to plant. Now, this is one of the ways that you can get 3 crowns on top of your deck. If you happen to have 3 in your hand, or even have 2 and draw one off of this, put 1 on top, and then when you attack with Mining Pick, put the other 2 on top, and then now you are flipping all 3 crowns. Now the one thing I will caution you with that, as much fun as it truly is, make sure that it's necessary. Because at the end, you're only going to be able to get 1 of those crowns back, and then now you have 2 crowns in your scrap pile that you have to wait until all the way through your deck, or you have to flip a STARscream, which then you only get 1 back. So it really is super fun, but make sure that you have to take out that character with that much damage. It's really nice if you need a one-shot prime in the Twin Prime list, or if you're going for a huge hit on a Combiner or Metroplex or even Omega Supreme. Make sure that it is definitely needed. But it is really cool if you don't have Mining Pick out to be able to draw 2, possibly get a crown, and then at least put 1 on top of your deck when it comes to a STARscream hit. Now this next card is controversial. It is in a lot of decks, to be honest with you. It is in here currently as a placeholder. Now, it is snowing now, so I don't know if I'm able to go get my Devastator list tomorrow, which is what I was telling you guys. I'm going to be swapping out this card for a card in that list. I don't want to talk about it, though, because if you guys are trying to wait and not be spoiled, I don't want to spoil it for you. But it is rollout. Now, even if you don't go with my change that I'm going to do later on, this card is really good in the list. Now, it is an orange and a blue battle icon card, which is really nice, helping proc drag strip. It's really nice on attack, and obviously really nice on defense. Plus, it says you get to flip each of your characters from bot mode to alt mode. This is really nice in case those turns that you have to have STARscream flip, pull a card out of your scrap pile, such as a crown or a Mining Pick, and then be able to flip back into your bot mode to then play the card and attack. So as much as you think as this card's really not that relevant in the list, it is actually really nice to have, and has saved my butt more than once or twice. Plus, in the rare case that you're not going to be using it for its effect, it's really nice to chuck to a green card. The next card coming in as a 2 of, or on a puff down here, is Espionage. Now this card, like I was talking about earlier, is phenomenal. I'm really having so much fun with this card, and it's slowly becoming a staple for me. It is just such a good card. It gives you so much information onto what it's in your opponent's hand, what your opponent is trying to do, what you need to work around. Plus, it's a white battle icon, helping us flip 2 more on attack and defense for both STARscream and drag strip. And then it's a green, which allows you to fetch it out. It is so good, especially in mirror matches. If you're going up against another STARscream, you know to name green, so you can try to get a bunch of different things. Or even if you want to go white, there's a bunch of white in the list as well. So either way, you're going to really do really good with it. Or even if the rare occurrence, you know your opponent is holding a security checkpoint, or you've seen your opponent flip one, this is really nice to be able to play, because if your opponent does security checkpoint you when you're holding a Mining Pick and 2 crowns before your STARscream attack, you are in a lot of trouble. So this is definitely a phenomenal card in the list. It is definitely nice to make sure you know what your opponent is playing, so you know what you want to target. The next card coming in as a 2 of, and is the star card that I do run on the list, is Universal Network Access. Now it is a blue battle icon card, which is super nice, but it just straight up lets us draw 3 cards. This is so nice. I have used it so many times to restock my hand, to be able to feed for more green cards, or even just dig for that card that I need to have when it comes to the STARscream hit. Again, I can't really stress it enough how important your STARscream attack is. You really want to maximize your damage, because your other little characters really aren't doing that much damage. Maybe they'll get 1 or 2 in, but it is all about big STARscream hits if you need it. This card's going to really help you dig, and it really helps you just set up and refill your hand. Next card coming in as a 3 of is going to be Marksmanship. Now Marksmanship is a blue battle icon card. It's fantastic. And it says if you control a ranged character, which STARscream is a ranged in both modes, and Dragship is a ranged in bot mode. So one thing to note, he is melee in car, and then he is ranged in bot. So if you have to flip him for the turn, for, you know, let's say STARscream's dead, and for some reason Dragship's alive, I don't know. It's kind of important to have. You can do 2 damage to an enemy in bot mode. Now remember that, it's bot mode. You can't just do it to anybody, they have to be in bot mode. Now this is really nice to help finish off that character if STARscream does go for a big hit and for some shocking reason they're still alive, or if your littler characters happen to do just enough damage to a little combiner character and you want to finish them off, this is just a really nice card to just get those extra points of damage. The next card coming in as a 2 of is going to be Treasure Hunt. Now Treasure Hunt is an orange battle icon card, and it scrap the top 4 cards of your deck, putting all upgrades into your hand. Now you guys did previously see all of our upgrades, and they are all extremely awesome, and they are all a piece of the combo for STARscream. So no matter what you get off of it, it's really nice. Even if you happen to go through a couple of these actions for it, that's totally fine. None of them are really super relevant. This deck is clearly all about the upgrades and really making sure that you have those huge STARscream hits. Now the main reason behind this is just so that you guys can dig for those last few cards if you absolutely need it, or let's say you happen to flip a mining pick early and you haven't been able to get another one and you can't flip STARscream for some reason. This is just really nice just to make sure you guys get those cards into your hand, or if you do happen to flip through your deck faster, or like you have a couple of crowns that you happen to flip for whatever reason that you can't get back and you need to reshuffle your deck, this is a really nice card for that. Now I used to run 3 of them, but I just don't really have a problem getting all of my combo pieces between the network access and through drag strip. I really always tend to have all the cards that I need, including incoming transmissions, so I don't really run 3. You definitely can run 3 if you are having an issue. Try to get the pieces into your hand. It's totally easy to do. You can get rid of a rollout for it, get rid of a ramming speed. Either way, even get rid of a marksmanship if it's not really helping you that much. Any of those are easy options to change. You could look into changing some of the upgrades, but I would highly, highly recommend you don't touch them. So you know what? Don't touch them. Alright, now getting into my final card. If you guys have been doing any counting, we have 39 here, and obviously you need to have 40. So what I want you guys to do is pause on this video here, go down and comment below, what do you think this one of awesome tech card is? Alrighty, I will assume that you did. Hopefully you did. If you didn't, you're a little party pooper. But anyway, here we go. My one of is Master Plan. Now this card is absolutely amazing for me. Before you start laughing, because this card's a joke to you, this card is no joke. I've even considered going up to 2 in the list, but because it's a green battle icon, I only run the 1. This thing is absolutely amazing. I literally cannot stress it enough about how good this card is. And what this card does is prevent your opponent from taking anything away from your ability to plan. Let's say your opponent, you flip through a couple of mining picks early, your opponent blew one up, they stripped it from your hand, whatever the case may be, haha, they think they're laughing. This card lets you plan 6. Up to 6 cards. You can put all 3 crowns on top. You can put whatever the hell you want. 6 cards if you need to. Now, I would always tell you that just plan 2 crowns, because that's usually the way to go. Like I said, if you need to do those huge turns, plan 3 if you have all 3, but make sure you need it. But even in the crazy case, if you just have a mining pick, let's say for some reason you don't have any crowns, you just have a mining pick, you can still play in your hand and get plus whatever off of the mining pick. So you play the mining pick, you have this and 4 other cards in your hand, and you need a big hit. Even if it's with a flameWAR at the end of the game, you can play this card, plan those 4, which yes, you'll lose your hand, be very careful with that, but you'd be able to get plus 5 attack off of a mining pick. This thing is so freaking amazing. I'm telling you, as a one of, it's amazing. Now, the other thing about it, and the reason why, like I said, I run it as a one of, is it does have a green battle icon card, meaning that we can fish for it. You can get rid of a security checkpoint, handheld blaster, rollouts, whatever the cases may be. This just makes sure that when you attack with STARscream, you are putting crowns on top, because like I said, it is extremely important to the list that you get to pull this off. And even if you know that your opponent is going to follow up on the next turn with something like, let's say, an espionage or a security checkpoint, with planning 6, you can put those crowns on top of your deck and keep them safe. Now, yes, your opponent is going to attack you, and you are going to have to account for flipping cards, but if you happen to put 2 blues on top and then put Decepticon Crown as your 3rd card, when your opponent attacks, you're going to flip 2. Be careful if you do have a flameWAR in this mode, you're going to have to flip 1 additional, so then put 3 blues on top and then a crown, however the case may be, but that way you're able to protect it if your opponent is going to go after you. Either way, Master Plan is a fantastic card. I absolutely love it. I'm absolutely loving this deck. It is so much fun. It is truly a blast to play, and it is extremely, extremely competitive. I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, a like would be greatly appreciated. Really shows us your guys' support. Subscribe for more, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.